Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel You-Flute. So for today's lesson we will be learning the notes B, A, and G and their fingerings. And then at the end of the video we'll be learning a song that incorporates those three notes. Okay, so before I get into teaching those fingerings, I do want to mention that playing B recorder is actually quite similar to playing the flute. And so if you've ever played the recorder before, you might see a lot of similarities between the two. Before I get into the fingerings, you guys should know about hand placement. So we're going to take our left hand and we're going to put that in front of our flute. Okay, so from my angle it might look like this, and what you're going to do is you want that, your palm to face you. So what you're going to do is your hand placement should look like this. Your thumb should be pressed on this key. And then for your right hand, your palm should be facing the other way, and it should be in front of your flute. And you're just going to uncurl your fingers like so, and it should kind of be like this. And your fingers should be directly on the keys, pressing down. And okay, well, here's from my angle, and as you can see, my fingers are pressing down and my pinky is on that key. So remember how in the previous video we talked about having the first key on the foot joint at an angle? Well, it's, as I said before in that video, it's because then, it doesn't cause that much strain on your fingers. More specifically on your pinky finger. Okay, hand placement is very important, but if you have any questions, if you have any questions, just leave a question down in the comments below and I will answer them. So now that we got hand placements down, let's talk about learning the fingerings of keys. Learning the fingerings of notes. So let's begin with the note B. So your thumb should be placed here again, as I mentioned. I'm changing the direction of the flute, but your pointer finger should press down on this key. So from my angle, it might look something like this. Angle, it might look like this. I also want to mention that for most of the notes, your pinky finger should be pressing down on this key. This includes the note B. Okay, so now that we got that fingering down, let's try to blow into the flute and let's see how the sound comes out. So remember in the first video, or in the first lesson, I talked about blowing into the flute. So we're going to use that same techniques that I mentioned in that video here. Okay, so this may take some time to get, the sound right, but the more you practice it, the more the sound will come out naturally. You may want to adjust your embouchure depending on how the sound is coming out. So you may want to blow more, blow less, change the position of your mouth. You can refer to lesson 1 again, and you can rewatch the video just to remind you of those techniques. Okay, so now let's practice tonguing with B. You can use your own practice techniques, whatever works for you. Note card here of B. So once we learn more notes, I will be referring back to these note cards for us to practice with. So just play the note B and try to practice it for a long time. And once you get it, continue watching this video. So here is just some practice with B that I'd like to do. The link will also be in the description box down below. Now that we've done B, let's go and move on to the note A. So the fingering for note A is similar to the fingering for note B. except that you're adding another key. You're pressing down on another key. You're going to press down on this key. So you're basically going to skip this key. It may be confusing at first, but it's like kind of natural for your fingers to fall that way. So from my angle, it'll look like this. Your angle, it might look like this. Also make sure to press down on this key like we did for B, and on your thumb key as well. So let's just try and play the note A. Again, you may have to adjust your embouchure or how much air you put into the flute. Okay, so here is some practice with A. So I want to remind you that this is just for one octave of A. We can move on to other octaves, and I will be teaching you that in the future videos to come. But for right now, we're just focusing on this octave because it's just easier to play and it's great to start with. Okay, so here's the note card for A. Okay, so I'm going to be holding up a note card and I want you guys to play. I'm going to be holding up a note card and I want you guys to play that note on your flute. Okay, so that might give you a way to practice moving between those two notes, but you can come up with your own practice by using those two notes. So, an example might be like this. Maybe instead of tonguing, you can slur those two notes. It's all up to you. Okay, so once you have felt confident in playing those two notes, let's go and move on to the note G. Okay, so we're back at it again with the angle. Okay, so this is the angle that, I will see when I'm playing the flute. And, G, the note G is, in this octave, is quite similar to the notes A and B, in that you're just adding another key. And this key is going to be here. So I'm just going to show you. So I'm just going to show you how it might look like for my angle. And this is how it may look like from your angle. And again, I'm going to put my pinky finger on that first key of the foot joint. So let's just try and play this note. Again, you may have to adjust your embouchure and how much air you put into the flute. Let's practice tonguing it. Okay, so here are just some, practice examples that you can use to play the note G. And again, the link will be down in the description box if you want to practice it on your own time. Here is the note card for G. Okay, so I'm going to do that exercise that we did before with A and B, where I'm going to put up a random note card and you guys are going to have to play it. But do this once you are feeling confident with G. Okay, so now that you have some practice moving between those three notes, and that you're confident with using all those three notes, let's move on into playing a song with the three notes B, A, and G. If you've ever played the recorder, you could probably see this coming, but we're going to be playing Hot Cross Buns. So I'll have a picture of the music, Hot Cross Buns, and we're going to be playing it together. Let's try to play it. Okay, so you may not get that on your first try, but try to play with me and then try to play by yourself. Okay, so congratulations, you have learned your first song on your flute. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, give a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel for future videos. Leave a comment in the comments down below if you have any suggestions, and yeah. In the description box down below there is a link to my website You-Flute where there is more information about You-Flute. And in my next lesson we will be learning more notes and fingerings, and yeah. Bye fluters! Bye fluters!